pass the country.
Everybody jump around the reggae and the move. Jump, jump, jump. Everybody jump around reggae and the move. Jump, jump, jump. Everybody jump around reggae music and the move. Everybody jump around reggae and the move. Everybody, and if you love one man, you shout out. Get up, sing it, man.
Mr. Oscar Joyner visiting us here at the School for the Arts. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, good to be here, Ras.
Man, tell us a little bit about the Tom Joyner Foundation.
Well, the Tom Joyner Foundation helps historically black colleges in the U.S. and United States Virgin Islands. We help black colleges all over the country donating scholarships. We've donated over $65 million to black students at black colleges. Over 16 years we've been doing this cruise, and this year we're aboard the Carnival Breeze, and it's been a fantastic ship, and love bringing 3,000 black people to Jamaica. Yeah. Welcome home.
Welcome home, man. We're here at the Georgian House in Montego Bay, where we will teach video, film, editing, television.
Very, very important, because you all, as a growing economy and the media being more accessible via digital, you all have more opportunities than this young man had coming up, where he had to go all the way to Chicago and be on the radio. You guys can film anything on YouTube or put it up digitally right here from Jamaica and broadcast it worldwide.
Hey man, let's go over to the Reggae Walk of Fame Museum and see what we're doing there.
Yeah man.
Yeah man, Rastafarian. The president was here and he speaks just like you. Yeah man.
Yeah man.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
Well, my wife's from Ethiopia, so I know of Rastafari.
Oh man. Yeah. Can you repeat that?
My wife is from Ethiopia, so Haile Selassie and Rastafari are deep in my heart.
Not just that, you almost grew up in Montego.
Almost grew up with, if anybody watching remembers my man Barnyard, he used to take me everywhere from all over Great River Estates when I was young to Sandals and Doctor's Cave, and as soon as I'm finished with this man, I'm going to Scotchies.
Hey man, Barnyard is from Maroon Town. We grew up together, went to Dundee Methodist Church. Barnyard, rest in peace, man. Love you, my brother. Rastafari, Oscar Jr. on BobArts Television. Don't go nowhere.
Right as the night, yeah. Cover me like the dew covers the land while it's still asleep, and keep me warm. Yes. Lay beside me, breathe warm in my ear, and keep me warm. Keep me warm. All problems solved, and time to give yourself, and I'm gonna give myself, my body and soul, my whole intention. Lead me on, I'll follow where you go. Your every touch is special, don't let go.
Oscar, can we do a little talk right here, so meanwhile, since your wife loves this one?
Lion of Judah, right?
Yeah, man. What do you think? Lion of Judah.
Lion of Judah. My wife and family from Ethiopia, and had to take a picture of this for the connection back to the motherland.
A true man,
Yeah.
conquering lion,
Yeah.
king of kings, without a doubt. But this is our Reggae Walk of Fame theater, where we'll do concerts, and we do it by appointment, and we do it also. We're planning regular events here, but that schedule has not yet been determined. So this is part.
But it's very nice. The history of the reggae, the music that's on the walls here, the pictures and the art is fantastic. It's great first-class facility. First-class facility, especially considering everything that Montego Bay and Falmouth are developing into now. This is first-rate.
Thank you very much, man. Here's some more of it. Here is our Reggae Walk. These are inductees. These are many inductees on the Reggae Walk of Fame.
Boom, this is Kenya.
Just a few
representing for
of
Astor.
them.
I'm telling you something. Kensington, Maroontown, Gallant, Wolf, South St. James. Look forward, man. Brutality.
It's in yellow.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah, but album.
Astor Black never get. Astor Black never get. We wait, man. We wait. Astor Black never get. We wait. We wait. Astor Black never get. We Although the battle seems so hot in Babylon, the conflict gets so and things get
One of my
really
artists,
harder.
one of our artists did this one. Did that one? Yeah,
As the black
that's
never
the one.
get
Yeah, I think that's a good one to take for your wife. So.
As the black never get As I was standing on a corner reasoning with two daughters, reasoning of Jah equal rights and justice, teaching them of the way they are to live. Here comes a Babylon to ride up on the wayside. We
Yeah, let me have you get a shot of me on
As the
the
black
stage too.
never get
Let me get you to get a shot of
As
me.
the black never get The Babylon jump out I cheat what him say. Boy! Come give me a shirt out of the back there. And Asta Black throw the bag forward and give it to Babylon. And everything Babylon said, Asta Black with. Him take it and ask him where him get it like him no work. But that's such an insult to black man and get dignity. Brutality we wait. Asta Black never get we wait.
Can you 1 second let me take on with you?
We wait. Asta Black never get we wait.
Yeah, I got this one.
Right hand and my left ear I
This one, I
see.
can't drop that one.
A criminal on my right and left hand too. They ask a lot of questions I know not about. And even say, it's a personal credential. I give why you know something for you know. Just go inside that Jeep boy. Brutality, we wait. Asta Black never get we wait. We wait. Asta Black never get we wait. So guess what? We are going and fight. Stand up for what is right. Like we say, Rasta unite. Run Jamaica land day and night.
You call me every
For the
time
people's right.
to Jamaica and tell us we need to
Brutality we wait. Asta never get. And let me tell you something again. For the marijuana. Asta Black stand for that too. Because it's the right thing to do. Brutality, we wait. Asta
Can you
Black
come a little
never get
closer
we
now?
wait.
Yeah, I'd love for you to say
We
my name
wait.
is Oscar
Maroontown
Joyner,
never get we
BobArts
wait.
Television.
arts like
So
Bob.
just wants to come out and
okay.
support. Kenyatta will represent.
All right, my name is Oscar Joyner. Welcome to
knows
Jamaica.
I'm
You're watching
out.
BobArts Television.
Fantastic, man.
Cat Williams is in the Red Velvet Cake Studios.
I am.
Welcome to the cake.
Thank you, sir. It looks delicious in here. Very tastefully done. Yeah.
In Dallas doing 2 shows. Another show has been added.
Added a show.
Man, you're
Man,
killing them, man.
still
Are you
doing
gonna
it.
are you going to record this show and put this out?
This one in Dallas?
No, the tour.
Just
Yes, sir.
The stand-up tour.
I am going to historically market, just trying to figure out where's the spot.
That you're gonna record. How many dates have you done so far?
I want to say 30.
Wow.
About 30 with another 30 to go.
All right.
You know, the basics. You know, back on that old horse
Do you
again.
do you like touring? Do you like being out there and being on the road?
It's the only enjoyable part.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'm
know how you
saying.
feel. I know how you feel.
Yeah.
When you get on.
But it's a different tour than, you know, like from back in the day. Now it's jets and big hotels, and it's great.
Yeah,
So
Melanie
it's gotta be
Camacho
great.
came by the other day and she said y'all roll big time.
You roll big time,
with
man.
private jets and money.
Said
in
everything is first class.
Those people are saying YOLO. We live YOLO every single time.
You only
This is
live
the difference.
once,
I'm
huh?
saying this may be our only tour, so we continue to do that, thinking it may never happen, and we were right. It might not have ever happened again, and so now we appreciate it so much more that we're back out again.
Good.
In smaller private jets now.
You have time to keep up with the news?
Yes, sir. And nothing but.
Oscar Pistorius, as
Yes,
you
sir.
call him, Tink Tink.
Yep.
And the trial is going on now. Have you been
Yeah.
keeping up?
I have, as much as I could. It's difficult, though.
Difficult to keep up.
Yeah.
Or difficult for Oscar. Or Tink Tink. as you call him.
Both. The story is bad either way.
Yeah.
Like, it's a terrible story. Like, it's the worst imaginable story. But you have to put yourself in the mind of somebody that can't walk away. Well, when a dude is telling you something happened without his legs on, that means that's a vulnerable conversation he's having with you. And now, if he's having that conversation with a woman, you don't know what she might have said at the time. You know what I mean?
You feel his pain, do you?
No, I just know that sometimes things happen, and I know that generally when stuff is hard to explain, that has nothing to do with whether it's true or not. Yeah, so, you know, it's a terrible situation, but I've been keeping up with it. It's all bad. No winners in that one.
Not when you're on trial for murder. No, sir.
No, and can't walk away. I'm saying you don't want to go to jail where you're going to get passed around. Yeah. I want to move. You can't move. This is your permanent cell. This is terrible. Lock my legs up independently from me. This is cruel, man. Yeah.
Tink Tink.
Yeah, pull a little tink tink. Sometimes we read into the future. Remember, I hit somebody at Target. Next Target hit everybody else's accounts. I'm be trying now. Kind of a slow profit, if you understand.
A slow profit.
A slow profit, yes. Yeah.
Did you ever say what he said to you, Kat? What did he say to you that make you hit him?
I didn't mean to, because I knew that it was a setup, but he was so aggressive with the N-word that it took my attitude from, okay, I can't do this because of the person that I am. And then I realized, no, actually because of the person I am, I'm like the only person you should have said this to. Because everybody else has a job they're going to lose and a family and they're going to go to jail.
Right.
And I'm going to be able to just say, no, this is what you said. This is the context in which you said it. And these are the recompenses for that. I'm saying that's how the N-word started to begin with. Yeah. It's about the intent behind it, not the word. Yeah, so his intent was faulty.
Now they're talking about fining football players for using the N-word on the football field. On the NFL is going to fine you, penalize you if you use the N-word.
I don't think you want to hear my opinion.
Yeah,
I think they should.
You think they should?
They should?
On the football field?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they should.
Why?
Because, see, you have to understand that everything that we see on the news, they want us to talk about it like it's a little story when really these are major agendas that we're discussing. So the whole thing is, yeah, you should ban that word. And while you at it, go ahead and ban the rest of the cuss words from the football field so you don't have to deal with that. And then we can act like you live in a professional world like we do.
Right.
Otherwise, say they play football and they can say whatever they want to say and just say the white players can't say the N-word. But for some reason, that smacks of racism,
Mm-hmm.
or reverse racism, which is no racism at all. Yikes! Did you see that one? Slow profit. Sometimes I speed it up and give it to him. Yeah. But
profit.
we have to deal with the word.
Yes.
And unfortunately, these are not black and white issues. They go both ways. So I have white friends that say that word, and I have to deal with it.
And what do you say to them?
I don't knock them out. That's the crazy part. Again, it's really how you're saying it. It's really what your tone is, how you meant to say it, you know? And so until we finally deal with those simple facts, we're not going to be able to move any further past Trayvon Martin and the Michael Dunns. All of that. I'm saying none of this is new, but it is going to have to stop. Yeah. So we'll see.
You spoke before on stage about weed.
Yeah.
And the weed laws now are coming down.
Before the weed laws, yes?
Yeah, before the weed laws. Again, slow profit.
Sir. Message isn't always popular.
But now, and the other day, there was a story about some kids, some boys in the 8th grade got caught.
No, 8 and 9-year-old.
8 and 9-year-old boys in the bathroom. Smoking weed.
Right, but those two stories don't have anything to do with each other. Those boys didn't go to a legal medical professional and get a prescription for it and then go to the bathroom and take it. They came upon what they came upon.
Their parents did.
Well, I'm saying it doesn't really matter. How long have children been going in their parents' alcohol and drinking out of it and replacing it with water?
Yeah,
Hands up. This is not what it's about. It's not about whether something can be abused. It's about whether it was created with a good purpose or not. Aspirin is made by God, and it makes your head feel better. And this little plant makes your head feel different. But the same person is responsible. So you can say whatever you want to say. It's the stuff they make that got 300 side effects. Now they realize it. We can do a law. We can move on. Yeah. Hopefully we can do that with the N-word, too.
Now, do you have these discussions with your kids the way that you have, this kind of rapport with your
with your
fans?
audience?
No, not really, because my children know this stuff, but they know that kind of what I do is to put myself on the front line of that. And honestly, if I cared enough about them, I wouldn't do that. So it's kind of a touchy subject if you're willfully putting yourself in the crosshairs, knowing that you have other priorities in life. So what we discuss is how we wish things would turn out, and the fact that you have to do what you have to do regardless of how it turns out. If it turns out well, then so be it, and you get the praise and the credit, give God some glory, and you move on. And if it doesn't, you take that L and you move on. That's what we discuss.
Do you discipline your kids? And in what way do you discipline them?
No, I was always smart enough to know all my kids were going to end up being bigger than me. So, yeah.
And there's a lot of them.
Anything that is too big for the corner or too big for a discussion.
The timeout
Yeah, I'm
corner.
saying.
I'm gonna let you have that.
I was blessed not to have bad children. So I'm saying.
How many?
Didn't really come. Well, I can't say all of them weren't. 80% track record of all good children.
How many kids do you have?
Current count 6.
And what's the age range?
Well, that's what makes it kind of difficult.
Okay.
Because we do have one in the Air Force now. We have another one just going into the service. So that's 2 in the service. And so now our number technically should be 4 since we're saying kids. But I try not to keep people too on track with my personal life just because I don't really do it for publicity,
Right.
Bless your heart.
Well, it works when it turns out bad, too. Always a blessing in there.
All right, Kat. We'll see you on the ship.
Now you know why I need to be on the ship. See? It's heavy out here. I'm just thankful I'm not Kevin Hart. I would not want to be the king right now. It's rough out there.
Kat Williams. Let's do
That's what I wanted to hear.
You got it.
Yeah.
Let's do a selfie. I mean, a ussy.
A Weezus.
My name is Aisha and I'm watching BobArtsTV.
My name is Andrea and I'm watching BobArtsTV.
She asked me what's my name, I tell her I am Connie. And I said, girl, tell me what's your name. And she tell me that her name is Jamaica. And I said, smile, girl, smile. Smile for me, Jamaica. And I said, smile, girl, smile. Ooh, Lord, smile for me, Jamaica. And never you cry, here am I. Yeah, I'm here for you, Jamaica. Dry your eyes, girl, smile. Smile for me, Jamaica, Lord. Hey, she have a rich history. A beautiful woman with the sweetest gifts. Beautiful sunrise and an evening kiss. Of a nice sunset on the evening season. But she tell me, say she tired. Tired of the exploits and the riots. She give them reggae, give them beaches, give them flowers and the ferns. All she got is abuse in return. But I say, don't you worry yourself, mama. Hey, Chronix is here to your help, mama.
Rastafarian.
Don't worry yourself, mama. One thing I beg you do for me. That's a smile.
Yeah, Kota. Kota nut.
Yes, no. Bless up.
Yeah.
What passenger?
Bye-bye.
This is Nardale Garden Project, and we're putting up for today, and it was nice being here, even though we didn't get any food.
What you making?
It's a sign for the community.
What the community? What's the name of your community?
Gordale Garden. Yeah, this is Nardale Garden community.
Come on.
We have about 20 ladies on the side who work, and about 10 men. So the ladies overflow the men.
The ladies overflow the men. The voice, you can't even know what to move from us.
Yes, come back. Okay, you call me around this side.
Then when you come up here, and I first, don't say you're in there.
No,
go back down there, sir.
Hold on. Are we going on the TV tonight?
Yeah, Kota TV, yeah.
Kota TV.
Hi, greetings. What you doing,
Oh,
man?
today's our birthday.
Happy birthday.
My birthday.
Sweet.
Yeah, some music. What you kind of
What kind of music?
all type of music. DJ,
Yeah.
singing.
You have a CD?
Depending on CD.
big up Kota Promotion.
How we
Yes,
get?
Broadway.
Kota Broadway.
Nardale Garden.
Garden.
The community people were doing our stand today, so we had finished now.
Three. So
So
you
we
gonna
finished.
put it in
No,
there?
we don't really finish because we need to render it.
And put it in.
Yes, and paint it.
Yeah,
and then write our stand, Nardale Garden.
Big up BobArtsTV. BobArts Television.
Yes, a bit of Bob Arts Television.
From Northern.
Love, Priscilla. Love, Clover.
Sing one song for me.
Can I sing one?
The one where you say you want me to do for you.
You want DJ song?
Yeah.
Man, I was lying across my bed. I feel like heat inside. Man, who hold me downstairs. All on a fire. Mr. Who driving. What a desire. Thank God that I'm not alone. Because Mr. Wood want to render some assistant. But nobody call the fire brigade. He said that's the only thing can cool me down. So me show him say me way down in a hole. John was said the church to cross over. I look at narrow lane, we cross 5 zone. No, me saw with my back and represented. When gully overflow. He says not the truck gonna do the work. It's the long thick hose that I chant to it. The house is on fire, so me now go visit. Me know when me get it, me can handle it. Hey, let me turn it on. Lord, this swell up. Come on now, come do your work. What the pressure from the truck is very strong. Me know already start to work. Back, 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 back.
Hear them say, dreadlocks can't live in a dreadlocks can't live in a tenement. 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 Too much watching. Dreadlocks can't live in privacy. We're doing the sign. Anything you do, hold me and I see. Too much watching. Too much watching. Too much. Dreadlocks keep smoking piping bees. Too much informers and too much bees. Too much watching. Too much. Too much watching. Too much. Dreadlocks can live in a tenement yard. Dreadlocks can't live in a tenement yard. Can't penetrate in a tenement yard. Can't penetrate in a tenement yard. Skip, Dreadlocks can't live in a tenement yard. Dreadlocks can't live in a tenement yard. Too much watchy. Too much watchy. Dreadlocks can't penetrate the rain, man. All him a do is sell Jaja land. Too much watchy. Too much.
My name is Ralston Russell Rallo. You're watching BobArtsTV.
I am Steve Orwell McGregor, Senior Superintendent in charge of the St. James Police Division. What we ask of you is to meet us halfway. St. James is now at the top of the murder rate in Jamaica, but it is my resolve and intention to change that. But we're only going to do it if you partner with us in our managing the crime situation in St. James. You can call me at any time. You're watching Bob Arts Television, and thank you for watching. Keep watching because the SSP watches. All right? Thank you very much.
Treat, Jamie. Them no worry me now. Them no worry me. Them boy they no worry me. Them no worry me now. Them no worry me. Life sweet, them can't stop the melody. Them no worry me now. Them no worry me. Pagans can't worry me. Them no worry me now. Them no worry me. Them boy they swear them can't study me. God no. We are gonna pray for my God home, yeah. The most high.
and again. Come on, start my body down. Start your clock.
And hold my body down. No break and hold my body down.
jump around, reggae and the move. Jump, jump, jump. Everybody jump around, reggae and the move. Jump, jump, jump. Everybody jump around, reggae music and the move. Everybody jump around, reggae and the move. Everybody, and if you love one man, you shout out. Get up, sing it, man.
Rastafari. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light? Rastafari we hail as the King of all kings, who's the bright morning star. He's the root of David, for the red, gold, and green, Jaja rainbow country, and His Majesty rule. We're no longer confused. Rastafari's the light, guiding I through the night. Oh, say does that red, gold, and green wave for the land. Come on, you don't know I love, honor, prosperity, and truth. The righteous people, them. Long life and good health is better than the Vatican's wealth. Long life and good health is better than Elizabeth's wealth. Long life and good health, far better than the Rothschild's wealth. Long life and good health is better than Babylon. Can never catch me with them vanity. Could never get me in them conspiracy. I've got to give rises to the Almighty to keep on living strong and healthy. But Babylon, them come, them get electric. They never know why man, them gone ballistic. But how them could I ever try and kill this, when King Selassie I protecting this? And so just say, long life and good health is better than the Vatican's wealth. Long life and good health is better than Elizabeth's wealth. Long life and good health, far better than the Rothschild's wealth. Long life and good health is better than the Rockefeller's wealth. See, I don't want your money, that cannot save me on my journey. You see, Zion's calling. I've got to stay fit and ready, yes, spiritually and physically, to face my destiny. And so just say, long life and good health is better than the Vatican's wealth. Long life and good health is better than Elizabeth's wealth. Long life and good health, far better than the Rothschild's wealth. Long life and good health is better than. So when you see the rich man with his vanities, my eye dream don't get envy. Remember your salvations with His Majesty. Just keep on living positively. We know that Babylon system is a fake. We've got to leave it before it's too late. King Selassie holds the keys to the gate. Rastafari, keep your faith. And so just say, long life and good health is better than the Vatican's wealth. Long life and good health is better than Elizabeth's wealth. Long life and good health, far better than the Rothschild's wealth.
children grow. Good health will make your body stay so. Long life, Jah bless you with prosperity. Good health to make you breed your woman plenty. Long life and you be living like Methuselah. Good health is just a blessing from the Father. Long life you get to see when Fatty can afford. Good health that means you're eating from the Rastaman's farm.
Long life and good health.
It's so much better than the Vatican's wealth.
Long life and good health.
Far better than Elizabeth's wealth. Long life and good health. So much better than the Rothschilds.
Yeah, this is AJ Brown, new lead singer for Third World. And listen, you're watching BobArtsTV. Keep it locked. Make sure you keep informed. BobArtsTV. See? Yeah. Oh, yeah. See? Jaja, pull him chair, you know, you hear it? If Jaja watch BobArtsTV, you know, pull up him chair.
My name is Tiani, you're watching BobArts Television. Hey, you're watching BobArts Television.
My name is Clifton Barnes. I'm watching BobArts Television.
We're live on BobArts Television. My name is Astor Black. Bro, how you doing?
I'm good, man.
Alright, welcome to BobArts Television.
Yes, glad to be here.
We're here on a Friday evening when commemorating the atrocities on Rastafari. Every year, you know, we as Rastafari come together to do this. Do you think it's resonating throughout the system?
In some ways, yes. And it's very important to mark events that are important to the development of not just Rastafari, but of people of African descent and people anywhere who want justice and rights. The Carl Gardens incident, what is called Bad Friday, or you could say the crucifixion of Rastafari, 8 months after Jamaica was declared an independent nation, says a lot for the political leaders who took over this country after the British. Because what we have seen is that they have actually perpetuated the philosophy and the policy of British colonialism towards their own people. And that's telling. In a sense, that philosophy of colonialism, that philosophy of fear for things African, that philosophy of fear for the freedom and the sovereignty of blackness was perpetuated shortly after independence, years after independence, and I must say we still have a far way to go, and that is why it is important to commemorate, to mark, so that we don't forget events like what happened in Coral Gardens, not far from here, on April 11th, 1963. Because it's a continuation of the ethos of oppression that came with over 300 and odd years of enslavement of Africans in Jamaica, and more than another 100 years of colonial subjection.
Prof, was this a black thing, or was it a atrocity on a Rastafari, a set of youths who carry themselves in this manner as a way of life? Was it a race war?
It was both. It was both, because the Rastafari, in a lot of respects, reminded important segment of the Jamaican elites. Never mind the British, we can understand that. But a segment of the Jamaican elites who have bought into the philosophy and practice of colonialism. The Rastafarians, Rastafari reminded them of Africa, reminded them of freedom to be who we are, not freedom to be what the European constructed us to be. That's why in Amal's song, when he says, we refuse to be what you wanted us to be, we are what we are, and that's the way life is going to be. Rastafari, from the coronation of His Majesty in 1930, if you look at the history of the treatment of Rastafarians, first and foremost, of Leonard Howell, arrested, tried for sedition, imprisoned several times, and then sent to where Bedward was sent and where Bedward died, Bellevue. Because apparently it is crazy to say that blackness is beautiful. It is crazy to say that black people have their own opinion about life, their own worldview. Why is it? It is because of that colonialism and slavery was not just a physical destruction and physical abuse of black people. It was philosophical, it was emotional, it was to designate black people as less than human.
True.
And therefore black people who transcend that, transcend the expectation of whiteness and the philosophy of denigration, then they seek to destroy them. And hence what happened in the 1930s, what happened in the 1940s at Pinnacle, what happened in the 1950s at Pinnacle, what happened in the 1950s as well in Western Kingston, what happened in the 1960s, Coral Gardens was not just one incident in 1963. Let us remember that in 1963 as well, the destruction of Bakawal.
Yes.
Bakawal, which is responsible to a great degree in the culture that emerged in Jamaica to give rise to Jamaican popular music. Bakawal was a very important location for the development of the culture that Bob Marley eventually took across the world, the culture that the Scatterlights took across the world, the culture that Peter Tosh took across the world.
Yes. Bro, today,
yes,
we see we have been doing this for years, since 1963, and we're still under the rule of the British government, because the Queen is still the head of state of Jamaica. Who are we complaining to? What are we complaining about, and how can we be compensated?
Well, there are a number of issues there. For one, we are only part of we are in a sense hanging on to the the front tail, if you will, of British royalty, of British colonialism. I don't know what sentimentality is, but I suppose we can say what it is and what are some of the possible reasons for that. But we can't blame Britain for that. We can't blame Britain for us, for example, still hanging on to their coattail, whether in their courts, whether in the final court, all of these things. Yeah. That is our fault. Okay. That is for us to deal with. Reparation. The more we understand and talk and research what was done over 400 years to Africans without a cent, working without pay, killed, brutalized, to make Britain the most powerful power in the world up to when the Americans came in. Yes. Right? It is not that I am just saying it. It is what the British themselves said. If we look in the literature that British intellectuals, yes. The British clergy, British economists, and British parliamentarians, if we look at their writings and speeches, it was very clear to them that the enslavement of Africa was central to the development of Britain. Yes. Economically, okay, intellectually. But are we still blaming Britain for the atrocities and Rastafari right here in Montego Bay? No, but that's a different issue. No, that's the issue. Well, the issue, I would say that the government of Jamaica has, in fact, is involved in trying to deal with the issue of reparations. Yeah. Do you mean the Queen's Council? No, the Queen. I don't care who they are. The government of Jamaica is trying to deal with the issue of reparations. Okay. But how can you? What is the mentality it is that you have? That you see the need for reparation, bro, but you don't see the need for reparations for Rastafarians who were beaten up, who were imprisoned for months, for nothing. Yes. They didn't commit any crime, right. And you can't see the need that these people should be compensated for. That's the thing I'm talking. And what I'm saying. Do you think this government, which is the JLPNP, who have been governing us during the time of 1963 until today, 2015, Bad Friday 2015, are we still going to them to represent us? Well, that's for the Jamaican people to say. But what I can say is that this commemoration has been going on for some time. And we have had a change in government over the years that this commemoration has been taking place. And we have changed government general. And yes, and the fact of the matter is none of those governments to this day dealt with the issue at hand. Exactly. Yes. So now, since you and I know that the I is a professor at UA, what do you teach? I teach political philosophy and a lot of things in culture. Okay. So, political philosophy is a key one. How can you, now you have had youth grow up since '63 and adults now learning under the hands of the University of the West Indies. Can't they see that it's time to get rid of the JLP and PNP? Can't you see? No, it is for the Jamaican people to decide. And it is for the Jamaican people to develop grassroots organization.
Yeah, but we know that.
No. It is very important.
Yeah, but
in the same way, you cannot.
University is teaching this.
We teach various courses in politics.
Yeah, but
the university is not a political organization.
It keep the power that being followed.
I don't know that. The university is not a political organization. The university has its own changes to make. As a member of faculty, I can say that.
It's true.
Certainly, part of what the university should do, and to some extent has done, is to deal with the issue of colonial education.
We know colonial
and to,
we know that already. We don't know Jamaica.
No, colonial education.
Yeah.
What we call the way we construct knowledge, what in philosophy we call epistemology.
Yeah.
In the various ways, and we still have a long way to go to teach and to learn about ourselves. And certainly,
it takes the university so long. We see even principal changing, going to see work now, and it's like up to now the university have not taught the youth them of today, who is adults of today. They teach them perfectly how to have a PNP YO and a GLP YO, and they come out now protecting the
No, you're blaming the university for what communities need to do?
No, but you need to teach the community members how to deal with it when they come back home to
Wait, so tell me something. What do you think I'm doing here?
Taking pictures and
what do I do?
As a Rastafarian,
what do I do at Funkon? I speak everywhere in Jamaica.
Yeah, but
very often.
Of course, but
every month.
But speaking the things which is not resignated. Alright, let me come back.
Which is not resignated.
Yeah, because we're not learning. Look at the crowd that's here today.
Whose fault is that the crowd is not here? Who mobilized that?
No, the crowd is here. I'm saying the crowd is here. But it's like we come every year, every Bad Friday, and hear the same speaker.
Yes, so the question of the director of the organizers, not at UWI.
I know. But they learn from UWI.
Not UWI.
They learn from UWI.
Right? It must be directed at the organizers. Marley emphasized what Marcus Garvey said in a speech in 1937. None but ourselves can free our minds. Right?
It's true.
And therefore, I have no qualms in saying that we need to do what we need to do for ourselves because nobody else can do it for us.
All right, now
it's very important.
Yeah, you know, I know that I have to change the way, the course that we have gone down since independence, and I have decided that I have to be the man at the steering wheel to guide us out of this quagmire that we're in right now. It's like we are 180% of our GDP in debt. This year, this Easter, we have tax and cheese. We have things is going from bad to worse.
It's UWI.
Hey, my name is Anne-Marie. Big up my daughter Nicole and Damien. Big up my baby father Dilly and everybody who know me. Hi. Big up my father-in-law, Well Gooden, and Miss Pauline. Big up Tanake and Shamar. Everybody, hello.
This is the original Dandana, Jabon Wheeler. Still survivor of the Wheelers. Also consisting of Robert Nesta, Bob Marley, and Winston Hubert Peter McIntosh, Peter Tosh. And I'm still here among all Rastafarian brethren, male and female, worshipping the true and living creator, Jah Rastafari, with all my heart, with all my thoughts, with all the things that are necessary for I and I to be focusing on what is truth and right. And I can see a lot of Rastafarians who have been here, who have made a lot of contributions towards the development of Rasta in this Western Hemisphere. And we have lost a lot of Rastafarians. And we have a lot of Rastafarians which we can't afford to lose, because I know that life is an source, and through life I will always hail and give praise unto Emperor Haile I Selassie Rastafari. It is always good for I and I to know what I and I is focusing on. I and I are Rastafarians, sons and daughters of Emperor Haile I Selassie and Mene Selassie. Therefore, being sons and daughters of the Most High, I as Rastafarians should be exhibiting those qualities that are Rastafari and that we have stood for as Rastafarians, exhibiting this light to the universe. And I am satisfied as a Rasta man to be here among so many great Rasta brethren in the celebration of ganja. Because I know that herb is for the healing of the nation. Its leaves are gracious. I can remember when I was a little youth, about 4 years of age. I used to down the gully, I play marble and all different kinds of things, race borders and all them things there. And I remember one day down the gully, I see a foot step out of a manhole. You know what is a manhole? A manhole is a hole that come from out of the side of the earth into the gully. And I see a foot come out. And it's a sandal. And every one of my brethren, them run. When I say run, you know, them days there you see foot come out, them way there. You have to flee. And when the brethren them run, and I don't move because I see a man foot, regardless of how it look. It's a man foot. And him step out, full blast. And it's a Rasta man, dreadlock. Clothing and crocus bag. Onion bag. And him shoes make out a, you don't know, tire. And him say, wait, you know, run. And I say, run for. And him just laugh. And from that year, 4 years of age, I have known the Rastafarian to be one that I have become in this time, because I am a Rastafarian, unchangeable and without doubt. Therefore, I would like the system of Babylon to see and understand the role that the Rasta man has played and the Rasta Empress has played in focusing on exhibition of our life as Rastafarians, and through the divine inspiration of his imperial power, Jah Rastafari, I remain Rastafarians without any doubt or any skin teeth. I and I no bow, no time at all. And everyone who in us are supposed to know how. Good. Rastafari. I and I as Rastafarians have done a lot of work. A lot of work in the exhibition of this great music called ska, rock, steady and reggae. And doing this work, a lot of people have inherited a lot of legacy and Rastafarians somehow have not inherited the legacy, but is Rastafarian do the work. So right now, each and every Rastafarian born already, dead gone, and not born yet, must be given the kind of right that the Rastafarian should and must be given based on the work of the Rastafarian upon the face of the earth.
Excellent is thy name.
You go east, west, north and south of the globe. If you go into South Africa right now, Rasta, Tano, Tram. Which part Rasta start from? Yes, sir! Down in the pit. Serving His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile High, Selassie High, Rastafari.
Excellent is thy name.
Every time. Knowing the truth and rights of Rastafarians and what Rastafarians have brought to the universe. I and I will always give thanks and always give praise unto Emperor Haile High, Selassie High, Rastafari, for giving I and I the strength that is necessary to balance under these circumstances governed by Babylon. I don't fear the Babylon. Rastaman not bow to Babylon. Rastaman bow to the true and living Creator, Emperor Haile High, Selassie High,
Excellent is thy name.
Rastafari. So when I gather in this kind of a manner, I don't want Babylon to take it as something that is a simplicity. I and I gather this manner, in this manner, to exercise the ability that is ours as Rastafarians, defending our faith and defending the things that we stand for as male and female in Rastafari. I know that Babylon have a whole heap of things to pay Rasta. Babylon can't done pay Rasta. So, I am ordering Babylon tonight to make sure that they provide for the Rastafarian male, female, and children in whatever plans they have for the development of this little place called Jamaica. And I not bow and I'm not begging with nobody. Rasta work hard. I can remember as a wheeler when you have Robert Marley, Peter Touch, Bonnie Wheeler. I can remember going out into the world as a wheeler without any support coming from system of Babylon. Because nobody know the wheelers. Because the wheelers are Rasta. But the wheelers know King Selassie and know the power and might of Emperor Haile Selassie. And through the divine power of Emperor Haile Selassie, the wheelers trod out there in a Babylon. Hear the voice of the Rastaman say. Babylon, you chung down, 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 down. Babylon, you chung down, down. Rastafari. The wheelers carry that message to the world. Brother Robert Marley, Bob not here. Peter Tosh also not here. But damn Dada there. Remember that. And because of that, I and I as Rastafarians must stand up for our rights and the justice that must be given to Rastafarians. Rastafarian no hurt no one, you know. No time. The Rasta man and the Rasta Empress no hurt nobody. Pure lie them a tell pan I and I. Because them out for earth I and I. But guess what? I and I not bow or afraid and not boy. If him want hurt or what him want do. Because I and I put I and I trust in the true and living Creator, Emperor, Haile Selassie, Rastafari. So love ye one to another. Love thy brother and thy sister as thyself. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Hear the eye! Hear the eye! Hear the eye! Yeah. Rastafari. See.
Well, put the mic to your mouth. Yes, brethren and sisters, give thanks and praises again and again to be upon this throne, this stage, presented this gift unto my sister, daughter, Aita, daughter and granddaughter. Yes, I did know daughter. And Aita was a pleasant Aita. Tried this faith coming with Bingy Ashley that is passed away through some sickness or so on. And I would advise my brethren and my sister, when illness come upon you and I, don't just sit down with it so and look it in the blue. Look, physician, for there is one life in I, and the life that is in the structure is Rastafari, the Almighty Emperor Haile Selassie. That's why I, the brethren and sisters, need to unite ourselves in that oneness of heart. That I must centralize the movement. That when one of I brethren and sisters sick, we can have communication and one help another. For no one Rastaman have this divine knowledge alone to move the international and national congregation unto success. Unity is strength. This unity is scattering and mourning and dead come after. Beloved brethren and sisters, and my daughter and granddaughter of daughter Aita, I will give you this gift. For daughter Aita, for he do the works of good I seen the congregation of Rastafari, and still death come and steal us away, steal him away. It is said that the wages of sin is death, and the gift of Jah is eternal life. We come through the process of the disobedience of the ancient forefather, and the present generation in this world and future generation still are going to go the transgression and represent it as our Father. But many is going and money is coming, but a few shall enter in. I beseech thee, my sister, to live the uprightness of the Almighty Rastafari, to walk in Emperor Haile Selassie commandment. It lives within us, and live the life of righteousness. And you could represent your little daughter and represent your mother, Aita. So I give this gift unto you, that you might have it as an ever-living remembrance, to remember Aita, that she is your mother, and she was a good mother unto you. Jah! 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 Bless and sanctify I and I from this time, henceforth and forevermore. Jah word without end, Selah Rastafari.
Are you ready? 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 When the roll is called up, I'll be standing taller to face the darkest and the hardest of time. We'll be taking care of all the children there, but if it's required, we'll be on the front line. You can call me by my name. I am. Once the rules remain the same.
Rastafari, Rastafari, Hear Rastafari, Hear Empress Menen I, Hear Empress Menen I. I want to be an idea, man. Make an hear shed mother and father. Hear Rastafari, I. You know, on this day, evening, we really want to give thanks. You know, it's been a long journey, you know, and the works of the elder ones help and I to reach this far. And as I move into the more work and less talking, because it's just so much. We've been saying over the years that we just really need to do some more, because as we see the elder ones, them year by year, one more gone, one more gone. Every year we come, we say one more gone. So we really need to start moving a little faster with the work. You know, there's a lot to be done, and we need to start moving a little faster with that. Also, there's one more thing I would like to see, is when we're discussing with personal business, we have a forum for that. We need a forum for that. Because in settings like these, you don't know who.
BobArtsTV, live and direct from Montego Bay, Jamaica, featuring Reggae Prime Minister Ras Astor Black.
When you produce a production line and everything.
Yeah,
and
man.
the elder thing kind of brought down right now, and we kind of give him a helping.
So big up BobArtsTV. My name is
Bob and Dave. Remember your name, BobArts?
Yeah.
Uncle Bob, big up yourself, your television, uplifting thing. I mean, I look for myself online. Yeah, daddy.
Sing one song, no man.
Yeah, mommy.
Sing one song.
One song I want. Yeah. Said I was off on my block for a very long time. And when I come back, I see some wrinkle up the song that two rule for go up on Baba son.
Give my next one.
Bless up. Give my next one. TV I go up on daddy.
Give my next one.
Go on like you know.
Rasta, where you are?
Yeah.
Yeah, Elvis. I'm watching BobArtsTV. If you want some painting done, 393-2283.
Yeah, man.
Hi, my name is Dwight Washington and I'm an independent Herbalife distributor here in Montego Bay. Woo! And this is
Tarsha Washington.
Alright, and we're about to hit the road to invite persons to come to our boot camp. It's called a 24-Fit Boot Camp Challenge here in Montego Bay. And we're at 10 Union Street. Free workout. All the members in Montego Bay are free to come, enjoy fun workouts with us and have fun.
Do a little workout.
Alright, what?
Alright, Herbalife to the world, woo!
Yeah, this Georgian house, beautiful place for concerts. So we're gonna do some evening things, some talk, lunchtime talk and everything. Come, give me a buzz, 435-8401, or if you're outside of Jamaica, it's 404-910-4463. So give me a ding. Astor Bank, inviting you to Georgian house at 10 Union Street. Check I out. Bless. Don't go nowhere. More music and love coming from Bob Arts Television. See you? Bye.
Your reward will be great in Mount Sinai. Your reward will be great in Mount Zion. And more blessings from the Most High. Your reward will be great in Mount Zion. Blessings from.
That's not a place. This is the original Dandana Jabon Wheeler. Still survivor of the Wheelers. Also consisting of Robert Nesta, Bob Marley, and Winston Hubert Peter McIntosh, Peter Tosh. And I'm still here among all Rastafarian brethren, male and female, worshipping the true and living Creator, Jah Rastafari, with all my heart, with all my thoughts, with all the things that are necessary for I and I to be focusing on what is truth and right. And I can see a lot of Rastafarians who have been here, who have made a lot of contributions towards the development of Rasta in this Western Hemisphere. And we have lost a lot of Rastafarians. And we have a lot of Rastafarians which we can't afford to lose, because I know that life is an source, and through life I will always hail and give praise unto Emperor Haile I Selassie Rastafari. It is always good for I and I to know what I and I is focusing on. I and I are Rastafarians, sons and daughters of Emperor Haile I Selassie and many Selassie. Therefore, being sons and daughters of the Most High, I as Rastafarians should be exhibiting those qualities that are Rastafari and that we have stood for as Rastafarians, exhibiting this light to the universe. And I am satisfied as a Rastaman to be here among so many great Rasta brethren in the celebration of Ganja. Because I know that herb is for the healing of the nation. Its leaves are gracious. I can remember when I was a little youth, about 4 years of age. I used to down the gully, I play marble and all different kinds of things, race borders and all them things there. And I remember one day down the gully, I see a foot step out of a manhole. You know what is a manhole? A manhole is a hole that come from out of the side of the earth into the gully. And I see a foot come out. And it's a sandal. And every one of my brethren, them run. When I say run, you know, them days there you see foot come out, them way there. You have to flee. And when the brethren them run, and I don't move because I see a man foot together, that's how it look. It's a man foot. And him step out, full blast. And it's a Rasta man, dreadlock. Clothing and crocus bag. Onion bag. And him shoes make out a, you don't know, tire. And him say, wait, you know, run. And I say, run for what? And him just laugh. And from that year, 4 years of age, I have known the Rastafarian to be one that I have become in this time, because I am a Rastafarian, unchangeable and without doubt. Therefore, I would like the system of Babylon to see and understand the role that the Rasta man has played and the Rasta Empress has played in focusing on exhibition of our life as Rastafarians, and through the divine inspiration of his imperial power, Jah Rastafari, I remain Rastafarians without any doubt or any skin teeth. I and I no bow, no time at all. And everyone who in us are supposed to know how. Good. Rastafari. I and I as Rastafarians have done a lot of work. A lot of work in the exhibition of this great music called ska, rock, steady and reggae. And doing this work A lot of people have inherited a lot of legacy, and Rastafarians somehow have not inherited the legacy, but is Rastafarian do the what? Work! So right now, each and every Rastafarian born already, dead gone, and not born yet, must be given the kind of right that the Rastafarian should and must be given based on the work of the Rastafarian upon the face of the earth.
Excellent is thy name.
You go east, west, north and south of the globe. If you go into South Africa right now, Rasta turn up drum. Which part Rasta start from? Yasta! Down in the pit. Serving his imperial majesty, Emperor Haile High, Selassie Rastafari.
Excellent is thy name.
Every time. Knowing the truth and rights of Rastafarians and what Rastafarians have brought to the universe. I and I will always give thanks and always give praise unto Emperor Haile High, Selassie Jah Rastafari, for giving I and I the strength that is necessary to balance under these circumstances governed by Babylon. I don't fear the Babylon. Rastaman no bow to Babylon. Rastaman bow to the true and living Creator, Emperor Haile High, Selassie High,
Excellent is thy name.
Rastafari. So when I gather in this kind of a manner, I don't want Babylon to take it as something that is a simplicity. I and I gather this manner, in this manner, to exercise the ability that is ours as Rastafarians, defending our faith and defending the things that we stand for as male and female in Rastafari. I know that Babylon have a whole heap of things to pay Rasta. Babylon can't done pay Rasta. So, I am ordering Babylon tonight to make sure that they provide for the Rastafarian male, female, and children in whatever plans they have for the development of this little place called Jamaica. And I not bow and I'm not begging with nobody. Rasta work hard. I can remember as a wheeler when you have Robert Marley, Peter Touch, Bonnie Wheeler. I can remember going out into the world as a wheeler without any support coming from system of Babylon. Because nobody know the wheelers. Because the wheelers are Rasta. But the wheelers know King Selassie and know the power and might of Emperor Haile Selassie. And through the divine power of Emperor Haile Selassie, the wheelers trod out there in a Babylon. Hear the voice of the Rastaman say, Babylon, you chun down, 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 down. Babylon, you chun down, down. Rastafari. Do we realize carry that message to the world? Brother Robert Marley, Bob not here. Peter Tosh also not here. But Dan Dada there. Remember that. And because of that, I and I as Rastafarians must stand up for our rights and the justice that must be given to Rastafarians. Rastafarian no hurt no one, you know. No time the Rasta man and the Rasta Empress no hurt nobody. Here I them a tell upon I and I. Because them out for hurt I and I. But guess what? I and I not bow or afraid and no boy. If him want hurt or what him want do. Because I and I put I and I trust in the true and living creator, Emperor Haile Selassie. Rastafari. So love ye one to another. Love thy brother and thy sister as thyself. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Hear the eye! Hear the eye! Hear the eye! Yeah. Rastafari.
Well,
Put the mic to your mouth. Yes, brethren and sisters, give thanks and praises again and again to be upon this throne, this stage, presented this gift unto my sister, daughter, Aita, daughter and granddaughter. Yes, I did know daughter, and Aita was a pleasant Aita. Tried this fate coming with Bingy Ashley that is passed away through some sickness or so on. And I would advise my brethren and my sister, when illness come upon you and I, don't just sit down with it so and look it in the blue. Look, physician, for there is one life in I and the life that is in the structure is Rastafari, the Almighty Emperor Haile Selassie. That's why I, the brethren and sisters, need to unite ourselves in that oneness of heart. That I must centralize the movement. That when one of I brethren and sisters sick, we can have communication and one help another. For no one Rastaman have this divine knowledge alone to move the international and national congregation unto success. Unity is strength. This unity is scattering and mourning and death come after. Beloved brethren and sistren, and my daughter and granddaughter of daughter Aita, I will give you this gift. For daughter Aita, for he do the works of good I see in the congregation of Rastafari, and still death come and steal us away, steal him away. It is said that the wages of sin is death, and the gift of Jah is eternal life. We come through the process of the disobedience of the ancient forefather, and the present generation in this world and future generation still are going to go on the transgression and represent it as our Father. But many is going and money is coming, but a few shall enter in. I beseech thee, my sister, to live the uprightness of the Almighty Rastafari, to walk in Emperor Haile Selassie commandment. It lives within us, and live the life of righteousness, and you could represent your little daughter and represent your mother Aita. So I give this gift unto you, that you might have it as an ever-living remembrance, to remember Aita, that she is your mother, and she was a good mother unto you. Jah! 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 Bless and sanctify I and I from this time, henceforth and forevermore. Jah word without end, Selah Rastafari.
Are you ready? 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 When the roll is on, I'll be standing taller to face the darkest and the hardest of time. We'll be taking care of all the children there, but if it's required, we'll be on the front line. You can call me by my name. I am. Once the rules remain the same.
Rastafari. Rastafari. Hear the Rastafari. Hear the Empress Menen I. Hear the Empress Menen I. I want to hear I there, man. Make I hear I. Hear I hear shed mother and father. Hear the Rastafari. I. You know, on this day, evening, we really want to give thanks. You know, it's been a long journey, you know, and the works of the elder ones help and I reach this far. And as I move into the more work and less talking, because it's just so much. We've been saying over the years that we just really need to do some more, because as we see the elder ones, them year by year, one more gone, one more gone. Every year we come, we say one more gone. So we really need to start moving a little faster with the work. You know, there's a lot to be done, and we need to start moving a little faster with that. Also, there's one more thing I would like to see, is when we're discussing with personal business, we have a forum for that. We need a forum for that. Because in settings like these, you don't know who is in the audience. We need to have forums where you have one registered, and you know everyone that is in the room. So when we're making serious decisions, we know that there isn't any wolf in a sheep clothing and them something there. Because things get to different directions where we don't want it to get because we now know who in our surroundings. We need to know who in our surroundings. We can't take radio for it. When we go up on the radio, we talk and talk and talk. You just go until the program done and you hear the next person come with the church. And it don't really get much farther than that. So it's a whole heap of highlight that you're really important ones which part in our decision-making positions. We need to have meetings where there are ones we know them and them registered that we can sort out with homework decently, that we can move forward. Rastafarian. One love, yes. Yeah, come for it.
You got to make it better. For the youths, them future, we can't see them more like this. Something I am to make it better. To the world, make it better. You feel like a bad man, keep it to yourself. Don't bring it to Jamaica, keep it to yourself. We don't want that a jam rock, keep it to yourself. We can't take no more slackness. You can't change the laws of man, but you can't change the laws of God. So because they glad. If you change, I must see back them mad. Somebody tell me what is happening. I don't want no fishing on me eyes.
All right. Now that we have come to the end of the speakers, we want to give thanks to all of the speakers who took time out to come here and who have always been coming. Some of them really want to give thanks.
Hi, my name is Sasha and I am the operations coordinator for the BobArtsTV Foundation, and we're currently looking for volunteers. So you can give us a call at 862-0740. That's 862-0740. Thank you.
Thank you. You may be seated. As you're aware, Jamaica recently played host to the President of the United States of America, Barack Obama, and we're still basking in the afterglow of Obama's magic. And he connected with his audience at the University of the West Indies with a popular Jamaican greeting. He said, "Wagwan, Jamaica. Big up, massive, the massives of Jamaica." Well, many of you may not be too familiar with a rich Jamaican dialect, or what we call patois. And it is interesting that one of the key points for discussion and focus over the next 2 days has to do with music and more broadly the cultural industries. And you are in the island of Jamaica, which we like to believe, because it is indeed so, we are a cultural superpower. We are an island that punches above our weight when it comes to giving the world cultural industries. And it is very noteworthy that the President of the United States sought to begin his presentation by going for the Jamaican lingua. And it is a credit to us, although I don't see her in the audience, but she's due to be here. Professor Carolyn Cooper, I'm sure we'll write about it, because there's always something of a
tension between those who would rather Jamaica speak formal English at all times, because indeed it is the language of international business and commerce, and too many of us struggle to move beyond the national dialect and the language of international business. Let me begin by welcoming a number of key persons here today, including the representative of the Prime Minister of Jamaica, the State Minister of Industry and Commerce and Investment, State Minister Sharon Fox Abrahams. She'll be bringing greetings on behalf of the Prime Minister of Jamaica, who unfortunately could not be with us this morning, but she will be ably represented by State Minister Abrahams. We should also welcome the Executive Director of the Caribbean Export Development Agency, Pamela Cook-Hamilton, who is to the right of State Minister Abrahams. She and her team are largely responsible for this two-day Cariforum-EU on a number of critical sectors of the economy of the 15 member states of Cariforum and the 27 member states of the European Union. We should also welcome from the Republic of Vanuatu, a group of islands in the Pacific who he represents them at the European Union, His Excellency Roy Mickey Joy. And we want to offer a special welcome to Ambassador Joy because, as you may be aware, the people of the Vanuatu recently had a national disaster. A hurricane virtually flattened the islands of Vanuatu. It's a very difficult time for them. They are rebuilding, as they will. They are resilient people, and we'll hear a little bit later from Ambassador Joy how that rebuilding process has been going. We should also welcome the head of cooperation and the delegation of the European Union to Jamaica, Belize, the Bahamas, the Turks and Caicos Islands, and the Cayman Islands, Mr. Jesus Urus Baguena. I hope I got that right. And also the Director General of Cariforum Directorate in CARICOM, Mr. Percival Marie. Welcome, Mr. Marie. And we also have Donnelly Bow, yes, Donnelly Bow. She's the acting chairperson of the Board of Directors of Caribbean Export Development Agency. Welcome. Now, we're going to begin with the Executive Director, Pamela Cook-Hamilton, who will really set the tone for today and the next and the following day. Pamela has more than 20 years experience in trade policy formulation, capacity building, negotiations and implementation, working at the national, regional, and the international level. Prior to joining Caribbean Export, Ms. Cook-Hamilton served as Regional Hub Coordinator for the Caribbean in the Integration and Trade Department of the Inter-American Development Bank, the IDB, and before that as Director of Trade and Competitiveness at the Organization of American States, the OAS. She was also instrumental in the design and implementation of the Masters in International Trade Policy program at one of our premier regional universities, the University of the West Indies, and that has provided increased depth to the region's trade policy capability. She holds a Juris Doctor in Law from Georgetown University in the US and a BSc in International Relations and Economics from UWI. She has published several papers on trade policy, the most recent being Aid for Trade and the Caribbean, White Matters. She was appointed Executive Director of Caribbean Export in November 2010. We want you to help me welcome Pamela Cook-Hamilton.
Thank you very much, Cliff. You stole my thunder, you know. I was looking forward to saying, greetings, massive, wagwan, Jamaica. And, you know, he just took it from me. But thank you very much. I'm happy that you were able to join us. The Honorable Sharon Folks Abrahams, thank you very much for representing at the last minute. The Honorable Portia Simpson Miller, Prime Minister of Jamaica, who was unable to join us. The Most Honorable P.J. Patterson is here, but he's not down here right now, but he'll be joining us later today. The Honorable Mayor Motley, QC MP, Leader of the Opposition, thank you very much for Barbados, not Jamaica. His Excellency Roy Mickey Joy, Ambassador of Vanuatu to the EU, the Kingdom of Belgium, the Republic of France, and High Commissioner to the United Kingdom and Port of St. James. Mr. Percival Marie, my boss, Director General, Cariforum Directorate. Mr. Jesus Orus Bagena, Head of Cooperation, the Delegation of the European Union to Jamaica, the Bahamas, Belize, Turks and Caicos, and the Cayman Islands. Ms. Donnelly Bowe, Acting Chairperson of the Board of Directors of Caribbean Export, and other members of the Board of Directors of Caribbean Export. Mr. Mohammed Sharif, Director, ACP Business Climate Facility, BizClim. Dr. Rainer Engels, Executive Project Manager, GIZ, members of the private sector, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Caribbean Export, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all of you here to the third Cariforum-EU Business Forum. We're delighted that you've chosen to join us and for this event. And frankly, what we're trying to do is to connect Cariforum businesses and organizations to international markets, primarily markets in Europe, but also those in Africa and the Pacific. It's an important opportunity for firms to network, make connections, and build their businesses while increasing trade and investment into our region. This, of course, would not be possible without several of the persons that we've worked with and who I introduced earlier in my speech. The 10th Regional Private Sector Development Program, which is supported by the European Union and being implemented by Caribbean Export, the ACP BizClim, and the GIZ. Through partnerships like these, we're better able to assist our constituents as we seek to take Caribbean excellence to the world. Organizing an event of this magnitude, which brings together representatives from 3 diverse sectors, agro-processing, music, and higher education, while coordinating with interested buyers and stakeholders in several countries across Europe, Africa, and the Pacific, has been an incredible undertaking. But at the end of the day, we have chosen to do this for 2 main reasons. Firstly, because we strongly believe in the quality of goods and services that come from the Caribbean. The excellent fine or flavor cocoa produced by several Caribbean countries, which has won numerous accolades at the International Cocoa Awards. The unique herbs and spices grown in the Caribbean that infuse our local cuisine and which we are already exporting across the world. Baron Foods, as one of the companies that we work with from St. Lucia, exports to over 22 countries across the region, the United States, and Europe. Similarly, right here in Jamaica, of course, we can boast of companies such as Walker's Wood Caribbean Foods. Mr. Winston Stone, I think, is here. Southside Distributors, who have been one of, yes, you're waving, one of our more successful companies and has grown exponentially since the last Cariforum Business Forum held in London, where she made several contacts and I think has grown at a rate of 36% of exports. And of course, Grace Kennedy, whose products have left an indelible mark on the agro-processing landscape of this country, regionally and internationally. Later today and tomorrow, we'll be hearing from many of these founders of these companies. Our music, which reflects our strong heritage and international impact with the likes of course, Bob Marley, Lord Kitchener, and the Mighty Sparrow. This sector is close to the heart of Caribbean people, as it allows us to share a part of our culture and identity with the world. Today's generation is also making their own mark globally, as we will hear later today from Jamaican-born Mr. Jeffrey Assassin Campbell. And it's always interesting to me, it's either assassin or bounty killer, or something to do with, murder. And I'm not quite sure what that means, but at any rate. And then we have Shaggy and Sean Paul and Rihanna. And Mr. Campbell has actually collaborated with the American recording artist Kanye West and the Grammy Award-winning hip-hop artist Kendrick Lamar at tomorrow night's Caribbean Exporter of the Year Awards ceremony and dinner, to which you're all invited. You will have the opportunity to hear the music of talented artists from across the Caribbean. The quality of our higher education institutions in the Caribbean is also one in which we take great pride, as we welcome students from across the world to pursue educational programs on our shores. One institution, the University of the West Indies, with its 3 physical campuses in Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica, as well as the Open Campus, has students and faculty that include 3 Nobel laureates, 61 Rhodes Scholars, 18 current or former Caribbean heads of government, and an Olympic medalist. Not to mention the University of Technology, whose pantheon of Olympic medalists is probably unparalleled by any other institution of higher education in the world. I'm sure that by now you are aware of why we at Caribbean Export are proud to be Caribbean, and even more proud to support the private sector in all 15 Cariforum states. Despite the many achievements in these sectors, however, we're cognizant that there are some challenges that firms and institutions across the region face. At times, the lack of market opportunity and information to engage business contacts and buyers hinder the extent to which our SMEs are able to truly take advantage of the existing trade agreements, such as the Economic Partnership Agreement. This leads me to the second reason why we're here today. During our work with the Cariforum private sector, it is clear that assistance is needed to help them capitalize on opportunities for trade in the European markets and beyond. We recognize that the Cariforum-EU Business Forum has the potential to provide a wealth of information on trends and opportunities in export markets that they can capitalize on. We understand that it's often in these environments where buyers and key contacts from around the world come ready to explore business opportunities that linkages and relationships are formed, which can help our producers and service providers to reach new markets. As such, the sessions during the forum are designed to provide general information applicable to SMEs across the sectors. Topics such as taking advantage of opportunities in Europe and other markets, the French Caribbean outermost region as a gateway to Europe, and branding for export markets will be conducted in plenary session. Additionally, as we endeavor to make the forum as practical and engaging as possible, we have organized a number of roundtables specific to each sector, which will be conducted in several breakout sessions that commence after lunch on each day. With a focus on discussing sector-specific trends, dedicated time after the sessions to facilitate business networking meetings for firms interested in meeting some of the international buyers on an individual basis. There will also be business development cafes, which will allow participants to meet industry experts and engage in small group consultations. I encourage those of you who have not registered for their B2Bs or to participate in the business cafes to liaise directly with the Caribbean Export Help Desk located at the back of this room for additional information. Radically changing a decades, actually no, centuries old relationship with our European partners. There is no gainsaying that we need time to adjust, and our failure thus far to effectively utilize the provisions of the agreement underscores that reality. However, the painful truth is that time is not on our side. We're already 15 years into the 21st century. I often tell the story of my son, Matthew, to illustrate the most cataclysmic change that has taken place in the world over the last 2 decades. We went into a little store in Barbados called Timothy Olton, and we were buying pizza or something. It was a Friday evening. And he said to me, "Mom, what's that?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" Because I couldn't figure out what he was pointing to that he had never seen. And it's a kind of antique store, very retro, and he was pointing to something on the wall. And when I looked up, it was a typewriter. He had never seen a typewriter. He's 14 years old. This tells us how rapidly the world has changed in 20 years and how imperative it is that the Caribbean begins to move much more quickly than we currently are. My view is that we have two choices. We can sit back and complain about the perceived injustice of it all, or we can do as we've always done in the Caribbean. We can take an incredible disadvantage and create a powerful, world-changing cultural shift, as we have done in music, in sports, in education, in rum, in coffee, just to name a few. And I know we can, once we decide to do it. Because we're not just survivors in this region, we're overcomers. And success is in our DNA. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attention. Once again, I welcome you to this forum and anticipate a fruitful and successful two-day event filled with meaningful discussion and incredible change. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pamela Cook Hamilton. Yes, we are creators. We are not merely survivors. Yeah, we are inventors, but we need to get it done more consistently. Well, we're going to be hearing now from the head of cooperation to the delegation of the European Union to Jamaica, Belize, the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, and the Cayman Islands, Jesus Horus Baguena. He's a Spanish national and has been head of that delegation for approximately 2 years, since February 2012, into his third year now. He has 26 years of experience in European Union institutions in various capacities. Between 2009 and 2012, Mr. Baguena was a head of office at the European Commission Juba's office and delegation to South Sudan in Africa. He was acting head of unit as well as the European Commission Health and Consumer Affairs from 2004 to 2009. Very experienced. Prior to that, he was a desk officer at the European Commission External Relations Andean Community Unit, and as well at the European Commission Directorate General for Enlargement, with particular reference to Latvia and Poland. He has earned a Bachelor of Arts and Humanities from the University of Bridgeport in Connecticut, a diploma in Western Europe, and a Master's in International Affairs from the Ivy League at Columbia University in New York. Mr. Baguena.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies. The Honorable Sharon Fox Arranz, Minister of State at the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce here in Jamaica. The Honorable Mia Motley, QC, MP and Leader of the Opposition in Barbados. His Excellency Roch Mickey Joy, Ambassador of Vanuatu to the European Union, the Kingdom of Belgium, the French Republic, and High Commissioner to the United Kingdom and the Court of St. James, Mr. Percival Marie, Director General of Cariforum Directorate, Mrs. Pamela Coke Hamilton, Executive Director of Caribbean Export, Ms. Donnelly Bow, Acting Chairperson of the Board of Directors of the Caribbean Export, and other members of the board present, Mr. Mohamed Sherif, Director ACP Business Climate Facility, Dr. Rainer Engels, Executive Project Manager of GIZ, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, and last but not least, I want to salute all of you, and notably the business leaders, the entrepreneurs from across Cariforum who are creating jobs and driving the economy upwards. You are the main reason we are all here today. As those of you who know me, I like to put things normally in simple terms. So before redistributing the cake, we need a big cake. So it is in this sense that your growth is one of the main drivers of our action and our support. Let me first of all also pass you the greetings of Ambassador Amadei that could not be here with us today because he's out of the country this week. The ultimate purpose of the European Union when negotiating the economic partnership agreement with Cariforum and indeed other trade agreements has been to ensure that trade is not only fair but fairer. I'm sorry about my Spanish accent. A rule-based trade regime without distortions, red tape, arbitrary import and export bans, and discrimination of foreign businesses and investors benefits people in making economic choices. Only clear, negotiated, effectively applied and controlled rules will create and sustain conditions to international competition. These concepts are at the heart of the Economic Partnership Agreement, and I know it has bad press in some of these countries. So I would like to recall here and today the immediate advantages that are brought to you, exporters, with this trade agreement. With EPA, you will be able to import all your industrial inputs from the European Union duty-free. I know that's a sensitive issue to you because many producers in the Caribbean need to import inputs. So the cheaper you import, of course, the more competitive your export will become. With EPA, you also have right now already duty-free access to over 500 million consumers with a fairly good purchasing power. As you know now, the European Union is already composed of 28 countries in Europe. The European Union has liberalized the importation already of 94% of its services sector, another area where we're going to be talking these 2 days under this agreement. These commitments made by the European Union go beyond the commitments made at the level of the General Agreement on Trading Services under the WTO. Services within the EPA cover not only trading services themselves, but also investment and electronic commerce, another area to be explored. We have also improved our rules of origin and extended cumulation, which again, in the Caribbean context, is particularly relevant, to make it easier for manufacturers to have a transformed product benefiting from the Cariforum origin. Of interest to the agribusiness industry, rules of origin have been simplified for agriculture and fisheries, a complicated area, as you know. But as mentioned earlier, the EPA is not only about liberalizing goods and services. EPAs will help you do business in a free and fair environment with effective oversight and dispute settlement mechanisms, securing thereby your business and your products. All in all, we believe that the EPA signed between the European Union and Cariforum is like a state-of-the-art highway offering substantial trade opportunities to access the European Union market. However, trade agreements alone are not enough. Filling the EPA with real life requires further efforts on both sides, far beyond tariff cuts and joint institutions. That's another reason why we are here today. It is about carrying out an ambitious domestic reform agenda, creating an enabling environment for business and developing the competitiveness and capacity of the private sector to engage in trade. The EPA agreement, compared to many other international agreements, acknowledges this challenge, and the European Union is formally committed to supporting business and countries on this road through aid for trade and broader development assistance. And that's why we are very happy to be able to fund this event today. Since the signature of the Cariforum-EU Economic Partnership Agreement in 2008, all 15 Cariforum states have been provided with 165 million euros in European Union development assistance focused on assisting national, sub-regional and regional authorities, civil society and the regional private sector in meeting the commitments under the EPA. At the firm level, over 150 companies have participated in initiatives under the Regional Private Sector Development Program being implemented by Caribbean Export. This includes numerous firms which have been awarded direct grant financing. It is my hope and expectation that with the business reforms being undertaken and more expected to come, with donor support and with your audacity, we will see a more competitive and diversified Caribbean economy to the benefit of all citizens. The European Union will continue to be on your side and to assist the Caribbean in achieving these objectives. Thank you very much for your attention and patience.
Thank you, Mr. Bagueno. And ladies and gentlemen, it's 20 minutes after 9 o'clock. We're already running behind time. And one of the measures of my success at the end of tomorrow will be how I manage you all. Yes? How I shepherd you, how I cajole you, how I nudge you, yeah? To say what you have to say with an economy of words, with equal effect, yeah? So, this is my first nudge, okay? So we're going to turn to His Excellency Roy Mickey Joy. Ambassador Joy is the first Vanuatu resident ambassador to the European Union, the Kingdom of Belgium, and selected EU member states, right? He has an impressive resume and CV. Ambassador Joy.
Master of Ceremony, representative of the Prime Minister of Jamaica, Madam Pamela Clark Hamilton, the Executive Director of the Caribbean Export Development Agency, Senor Jesus Onus Bojoyner, Head of Cooperation of the EU Delegation based in Jamaica, my good friend Mr. Espicion Oliveira, the Deputy Director of the Caribbean Export Development Agency, Mr. Mohamed Sherif, Head of the Pacific Bisclim Facility based in Brussels, who are also in charge of this program, Madam Miraya Volavola, Executive Director of the Pacific Islands Private Sector Organization, PIPSO, based in Fiji, who is with us this morning, and so my brother, Chief Eddie Wilson from Samoa. Mr. Hughes, I'll be able to inform you that we from the Pacific, we've traveled a long way, a long distance to come to the Caribbean. So you'll have to be able to, I crave your indulgence to allow me to speak to the extent of fulfilling the aspiration of the Pacific Islanders who have come this far to the Caribbean. I beg your indulgence. You will have no doubt there's a few messages I'd like to share and to spread to this meeting. I am someone who thinks beyond time. That is the expression how my government describes me, as someone 15 years ago when Vanuatu was, when the WTO was just conceived out of Geneva. As you know, Pamela, Madam Hamilton, she knows too well, and also those who have trade background. WTO conceived out of the GATT 1947 we call that. I was unfortunately sent to a course in 1994 in Geneva. And by the time it was the conclusion of the GATT and the beginning of the WTO, so I decided to commit my government to become a member of the WTO. Little did I know, sir, that the process will be very, very long. As a small country, we have to make major concessions and commitments beyond our own capacity. And we have to pay a high price to be a member of the WTO. The reason why WTO is so significant gives the basis of why the ACP countries, including you in the Caribbean, we in the Pacific, and those our brothers and sisters in the major continent of Africa, have made enormous commitment to sign up to the so-called economic partnership agreement. I'd like to hear from the private sector themselves in the course of the 2 days. What is the benefit that is coming out from your EPAs? Because the Caribbean, you were the first region to jump into the bandwagon and conclude an EPA without doing your own baseline studies. We in the Pacific and most parts of Africa have approached the EPA with a lot of consciousness, with a lot of care, because what we commit to will translate into the cost of our private sectors who are here today. Let's be real, let's be honest about these things. But master of ceremony, with your permission, privilege that I've been invited to come and stand here this morning amidst a very ambivalent audience. The third Caribbean-EU Business Forum has taken place here in this beautiful town of Montego Bay at a very important period of our development cooperation with the EU. When I was at university, first time I learned about Montego Bay was this where the United Nations Love the Sea Convention was concluded some 33 years ago here in Jamaica. So Jamaica has been on the world map for a long time. Besides, of course, the recent success of your athletics, including Usain Bolt and the entire team that has taken this world by storm because of the ability and the ability that Jamaicans can produce at the global level. But must have me coming closer to home. I am very privileged this morning, sir, because one of my ambitions and my dream in life was concluded this morning when I met the Honorable Michael Ibo Cooper sitting right here. Those of you in the Caribbean and those who are visiting Montego Bay now who do not know about Michael Ibo Cooper, Mr. Cooper, allow me my limited knowledge of you and the band you play. The Third World Band Music, which was conceived in Kingston, in Jamaica, started in the early days to support the music of Bob Nestor Marley and the Wailers. We in the Pacific, we are too far from the Caribbean. Yet, you go to all shelters and all arts, people play reggae music. The Third World Band is still alive. Of course, as time goes by, the musicians have migrated, they're doing well, they're involved in the industry, promoting music in themselves. But the band and the significance they bring to global music industry is not only in the Caribbean, in America and Europe, but it has reached the furthest part of the globe. And that is how powerful music can become. And for me as a person, through you, sir, I'm very privileged this morning. I had shook hands with Mr. Michael who was sitting there, and I took a good photograph of myself and him. When I was growing up at the local secondary school, this was in the early 1990s, a few of the boys, we used to converge and listen to dead world music all the time. Although most of my friends didn't have the time and the opportunity to travel abroad. But I had my first taste of music when I listened to them perform at the International Caribbean Day at the World Expo in Sevilla in Spain. It was on the month of July in 1992, and the man himself can attest to that. I was there to witness that. Let's move on. Let me talk about music before I talk about the substance of this conference. And allow me. In the same period, during my young days in the islands, we recognized the contribution of reggae music to society. And it tells us there's a commonality that is within in existence. Although the Caribbean is too far from the islands where we come from, and we are too far from you guys. What we bring to this conference today, I wanted to challenge the organizer of this conference, the Caribbean Export Development Authority, the government of Jamaica, the Cariforum, BISCLIN, you guys have assembled here. It would be a remiss on our part to walk out of this conference tomorrow evening to return back to our respective offices in our own islands and in our states without achieving something output or something successful and meaningful to the Pacific and the Caribbean region. I want to conclude on the Dead World Band. I have not finished. Dead World Band music, such as 90 Degrees in the Shade, In a Time Like This, and Wall of Uncertainty are a few of the group's top number that has seen the global music scene and continues to do so even in the far and isolated parts of the small island, Pacific Island states. Music is powerful, and I am pleased that this event has accorded music as one of the clusters to be discussed in these meetings this afternoon. I look forward, in particular, to being part of the moderation that will be taken by the man himself, Mr. Michael Ipokuba. God bless. Now, Chair, you will permit me to go through what I've written for you. You know, I woke up this morning, I have not prepared anything to share with you. I thought there was no point. I woke up at 4 in the morning. I did not attend the cocktail last night. My apologies, Mohammed. I woke up at 4 and I knew that the Prime Minister's representative would be here. So I think it would be a remiss on my part not to do something useful. So I on at my computer and I rough drafted something quickly. I will share the video as it is. But let me also tell you, inform you that what I say will be on record, and it's a reflection of the state of play that is currently happening in Brussels. Why Brussels? The distinguished representative of the European Union just spoke. He mentioned about the allocation of funds for the private sector. But let's get to the really nitty-gritty of that. I wish to begin by bringing warm greetings, Madam Pamela Coke and colleagues, of His Excellency Mr. Patrick Gomes, the former ambassador of Guyana, as you know too well, who is currently the new Secretary General of the ACP Group of States, based in Brussels. Ambassador Gomes was formerly the ambassador of Guyana, formerly the Dean of the ACP Ambassadors, and brings with him to the ACP strong and wealth of experience that will support the private sector and the coexistence of the African, Caribbean, Pacific states. We have no doubt that he's going to do a marvelous job to support us. He has asked me, Madam, to convey through you his apologies for not being with us, because this week I was not supposed to come, I must admit. But as I told Mr. Kuba himself, because of his presence, I had to come. Oh, seriously. That aside, this week in Brussels we have the meeting of the DFC, which is Development Finance Cooperation Committee, meeting yesterday to be able to start to realign priorities that are going to support the ACP private sector development. I think that's what is going on here. Colleagues, I feel the convening of this Caribbean EU Business Forum is being built at a very critical juncture, where major decisions will have to be made in order to meet the difficult eligibility criteria as imposed by the EC in the drawing up and accessing new and much needed funds and resources available to the ACP states and the offices, territories and departments, like in the case of Guadeloupe, Martinique, and even New Caledonia and French Polynesia, to name a few. This is the first time that a small delegation of selected Pacific ACP representatives are being invited to attend this Caribbean Business Forum here today. The Caribbean Business Forum is the flagship of the Cariforum region and provides a sound platform where industry representatives converge to formulate, develop and consider emerging opportunities and discuss critically the Cariforum region's position on a number of issues, including the EPA negotiations, among others. I wish to place on record my most profound gratitude to two particular individuals who have made it possible for the Pacific representation to be here. First and foremost to Mr. Oliveira, Especion from the Caribbean Export Development Agency. Thank you, Oliveira. And Mr. Mohamed Sharif for accepting to invite few of our colleagues to come. This is the first conference ever in the coexistence of the 40 years of ACP. This is the first time that Caribbeans have invited the Pacific team to come and to mingle and to work with you in order to chart out a new roadmap. A roadmap that can be able to guide the framework of cooperation in taking these two regions to the next level. I'll be very critical to announce that we in ACP, we have exactly 80 member states. The new ones would be South Sudan, they've just joined us. But in the entire configuration, we have 15 from the Pacific, I think 15 from the Caribbean, and 50 from the entire large African Union. Now, when you look at your mathematics and economics, you know for a fact who benefits mostly from the entire ICP Corporation. So I think that is the reason why this meeting at this time would not be just business as usual. But we need to be able to do justice to our own constituencies, those who come from the political background, from the industry, and from government, from the private sector and public sector, to translate what is available now in the next 5 years to support the growing needed interest of private sector development in the Caribbean, the Pacific, and even the African region. My colleagues who've come to Montego Bay, we in the Pacific, we only have two strategic interests in our participation here. Firstly, we wanted to come and share ideas and to learn ideas from our Caribbean colleagues. But secondly, we wanted also to start thinking loud and clear as to what would constitute a future cooperation framework in terms of business investment between this region and our region. And I think that is something we need to take forward. I'd like to propose that while you're looking at the clusters, this should be a sub-team that should be among other issues for discussion, and that when we conclude tomorrow, Madam Pamela and colleagues, we should have something, a roadmap, deciding where we move from here. I must also be honest to say that the European Union has made available a substantial amount of money. 600 million euro was announced last year at the council meeting in Nairobi in Kenya to support the private sector development of all ACP states, including you guys in the Caribbean and we in the Pacific. Now my question, I've asked how many times, are we prepared? Are we ready? Are we ready to face those challenges, to make sure those funds are channeled into our own private sectors and institutions in the Caribbean? Because one thing is for sure, on the one hand, Europeans will be able to make pronouncements on huge envelopes. But the fact of the matter that is the reality here is how to access and have access to those funds. It's enormous. It's huge, it's cumbersome, and it's very bureaucratic. I think at the end of the day, there should be some form of flexibility available to our private sectors to allow you to have those funds, to use them to develop your own private sector industry. I'll finish in 2 minutes. The 600 million euro I mentioned, Chair, and Madam Pamela. We have been informed in Brussels 2 weeks ago that out of this 600 million, 400 million euro is going to be allocated to the European Investment Bank in Luxembourg. Now guys, this information is real. EIB is going to manage this 400 million euro for the ACP through what is known as planting. Which means for you guys to go and get funds from EIB, you have to go like to heaven and back. So I think you guys are the right group here, right mindset to be able to help the Caribbean Export Development Agency, basically, to put together strategies that can be able to assist our region in accessing these funds. Before I conclude, I just wanted to ask you requested, Mr. Chairman and my good friend. It is my message to this conference that while we begin the 11 EDF programming, which begins 2015 to 2020, we should be able to learn the lessons of the past as a guiding principle to help us to decide what we want best. For far too long, the international community and development partners, including the European Union and the European Commission, have allocated so much funds to the Caribbean and Pacific and African region to support projects. But I must tell you the truth. You hear those funds and you read them through papers. But funds do not come to you as they promised. The funds are spent to finance and support their own consultants. Guys, these consultants pick up at least 30% of the entire package before they actually begin the work. Nothing is spent on the local rural economies of the Caribbean and the Pacific. Let's be honest with ourselves, come on guys. That is the message I wanted to share with you. And I say this with my humble heart, with the highest respect, that this conference is the right medium to be able to address this, because the negotiations in Brussels has just begun, to be able to see how the Pacific and Caribbean region can have a take in the allocation of these new funds. And also it is of greatest respect that all Caribbean and Pacific ambassadors in Brussels must learn to work together collaboratively in supporting the private sector needs. I will conclude, Chair, you requested. Cyclone Pam, as you know, hit the islands of Vanuatu by storm on the 13th of March. Out of a 260,000 population in the small island of Vanuatu, 140,000, which constitute just over 58% of the households and the population have been displaced. Now, let me promise you guys, if the cyclone hits the Caribbean, it's going to be devastating like it hits the Pacific. We are lucky. Vanuatu is a mountainous island, but had it hit small islands like Kiribati and Tuvalu, our other colleagues, I can assure you there'll be no living soul that will be alive after the cyclone to confess or to testify the devastation it has done. I wanted just to share with you and to thank you, everybody, for the international support that has been given to my country and my own people in the rebuilding and reconstruction of our economy. We thank you all from the Caribbean, the EC, all partners, and we pray to the living God for his protection and his guidance on us. With that note, I now close my speech, and I wish you all the best and fruitful discussion in good days. Thank you, Chair. My apologies for the time.
Infrastructure. This would increase the depth and diversity of its creative and other tourism offerings. The size of the internal market and our production base would increase dramatically. This would begin to demonstrate and lay a stronger and more operational base for South-South trade. I'm not suggesting that these things are going to happen in an instant, but we have got to look to the future. We have got to be forward thinking. The Caribbean, so defined, would be a powerhouse in world sports and not just the sprints in world athletics. We would be a force in the world's music industry. We could be a center, not just be a backup for the movie industry. The Caribbean would control a significant part of the world's marine and terrestrial biodiversity for the pharmaceutical and food industries. My main plea today is that the states of the region see the big picture, and we try to coalesce as a unit to deal with the world and not as fragments to be exploited by the rest of the world. We must see the Caribbean as a complementary force for external competition and not contending parts for internal competition. The productive resources of the region, natural and human, must be truly available to all in the region. We have already earned global recognition for cultural expressions, our products and our services. Our lingo is special. Massive now has a new meaning. Only yesterday I was seeing a clip on the BBC television about the current election campaign in the United Kingdom. And I was hearing reggae music. I thought it was a Jamaican campaign. Reggae, calypso, zouk, merengue, rumba. That's what we have to offer. We should be creating a Caribbean cultural itinerary and sports calendar. Track meets, cricket tournaments, yes, despite everything. Football games, carnivals in Trinidad, Haiti and Antigua, crop over in Barbados, Junkun in the Bahamas, jazz festivals in St. Lucia, St. Kitts, Tobago. This will increase tourism flows for those who want to come to the Caribbean and enjoy a variety of tastes and experiences. We should be producing all the souvenirs that our visitors need. People are coming from elsewhere, and when they buy a bit of craft, made in China. Haiti perhaps has the most talented craftspeople in the entire Caribbean. They should be making a volume, a raft of products, not just for our local tourism market, but indeed for the wider world. I believe that the cultural industries provide points of leverage for us to reap our competitive advantage and increase the export of our cultural and creative services. Sports, music, craft, cuisine, literature, fashion design, festivals, theater, films, and cultural tourism. We must make sure we add to this for value-added broadcasting rights, content production, design, publishing and audio visuals, where we must insist on our copyright ownership and protection of intellectual property. I have gone all over the world, and everywhere I go, I am being offered jerk. In some places, it is an offense to the palate. How do we protect it? We have to encourage, particularly for our youth, animation and the advance of digital technology. As I come to the end, I'd like to just quote something which I was afforded the privilege of saying in an opening presentation in Nassau to the heads of government, and which took a historic decision which I will mention later. And I said the following then: the protocols we signed for sugar and bananas no longer exist. The base of non-reciprocity for new agricultural products and a range of manufacturers and semi-manufacturers has been totally eroded. We had sought to ensure that the exploitation of our mineral resources, oil and bauxite, could benefit from European technology and attractive financial terms. The scope for expansion is virtually exhausted, and so there is little room for advancement in this area. The time has come to enter a new frontier, to secure our full share in an era of soaring global growth, the knowledge economy, a niche anchored by our cultural heritage, our creativity, innovation, and our superb talents which span the range of arts, music, sports, animation, festivals, food, wellness, and the hospitality trade. Nature has blessed us with our rivers, our mountains, our azure seas, our pristine beaches, the marine and terrestrial fauna and flora, our delicate and precious ecosystem. Invaluable though these are, nothing can compare with our human assets, the Caribbean people. We must convert their potential to realize the comparative advantage we enjoy. End of quote. After that opening, the heads of government of the Caribbean signaled a paradigm shift to seek, quote, new development pathways in the pursuit of inclusive, equitable, and sustainable growth by harnessing the potential of the cultural and creative industries in the region. And as it was in Georgetown in 1973, I believe our leaders in the Bahamas in 2015 are articulating a new vision on the way forward for the Caribbean. In order to leverage our human capital and natural assets for the economic development of the community, heads have mandated the Caribbean Export Development Agency, sponsors for this conference, to prepare a proposal for a management unit and with other regional institutions to identify donor resources for the financing of the development of the cultural and creative industries. The city in which we meet, Montego Bay, has won renown as one where historic breakthroughs have occurred in the course of regional decision-making. Let this impressive gathering here in Rose Hall mark another giant step forward. May this business conference spark a new beginning as we make that paradigm shift to tell the world that Cariforum countries are ready to compete in those areas where the blessings of nature and the innate talents of our people combine. To reflect that the development of our human capital and the building of the knowledge economy is the way to go, for culture is the region's business. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Ras Astor Black. I developed in the reggae walk of fame. And Boo, you look like you're a prime minister graduate from the University of West Indies.
Question. Please. So we're racing along because...
Well, if you give me a chance to ask a question, I'll do that. Okay. When we use our reggae music, we see now that people grow dreadlocks to get a bus. Do we still go on to use our reggae music, which is the indigenous music of Rastafari, in political campaigns, and then the politicians don't give back? Are you saying that the politicians should not give back, our government should not give back to our industry, which is, we are being used every election to promote your party, and then you don't want us to, you have to pay tax on guitars that come in? I think our governments need to look at us as export more than just selling our beaches. Thank you. When are we going to do that?
Super. We have another question from the floor, and then we can respond to whoever.
Just a comment and an observation.
Because we are developing how a music business class that we do for class for over 14 years.
Yeah, we don't know the business yet.
Right? We have to reorganize it. We need, so, but I will address that in detail, if you don't mind, in the interest of time. But the segues to what I'm going to say. The organization, I'm trying to be on myself, but I have to ask a question. When they were setting up the proposal to bring about this organization, was there some form of advisory body that came together in the inception? You answer, because I was second part, so I want
The quickest. We have done, for example, a study on the entire music industry, and we've had advisors on the issue of Not just music, but it's not just about music, it's about the creative industries generally. And there have been several studies, several. What we intend to do is, once this comes out, is to pull together, as I said.
Let me go to the that is what worries me. It worries me that you're going to start the organization.
No, we're not starting the organization. Notice it's a unit, not an organization. The unit is a body that will then sit down with all the practitioners, all the persons. The reason we push for it, let me try to explain how can I explain it? Let me try to explain the politics of it. Because as I try to explain to my staff sometimes, I'm only sitting here looking at me, that sometimes you have to do things the other way around just to get it done. We needed the heads of government to make a definitive statement on the establishment of something. We will then do what it takes to form it. But we needed that imprimatur so we could get the donors to give us the money. Do you understand? So
you have to kick off the ball.
That's it. We just kick the ball.
You kick it off, right?
Now we're going to get you guys to play it.
We've
been playing it all our lives.
Then when the actual thing comes on, and you get your consultations and so on, right? What you have put in place already, can that be transformed? I mean,
we have nothing in
place.
It's a paper. It's just the paper to run with the money.
Just run with the money.
That's it.
And then the musician.
Don't be so cynical yet.
I'm not really good with the when the money comes now, right?
Yeah.
Like some people when you are sometimes say.
Yep. The practice them. Yeah, man. The true. We need musicians.
We have the platinum here, see? And so I have an advantage of having seen a lot of history of a generation you don't know half of me know. And I don't want them to ride the same bicycle. Straight up.
Absolutely.
Right? My aims are altruistic. Right? I was sorry. But I don't want them to ride the same bicycle. Right? So listen to me again. When EU spend some money already, and what I'm talking about, they spend some money already, and they have a bad taste in their mouth about some of the money that they have already spent. Because certain people in the region
run with it.
I never said that as to the goes in the mouth, they will say it. Right? I never said that.
Alright, sir.
I have to say things that could stand up in a court of law.
Alright, sir.
Alright. Certain people in the region apportioned the money in a way that when you look at the books, maybe the majority of the funding did not go to projects. Now these are some of the things that we have to face. And if we have a positive vote on the issue, we might as well go back and fix them. Right? Give yourself Martin.
No man, you want
Sorry, just in the interest of time, but we can talk about this and tomorrow.
I was worried.
I understand exactly what your concerns are. Yes, which is why it has been set up as a unit of Caribbean Export Development Agency, which will make sure, because we will be held accountable.
Plus also, we must not reinvent the wheel.
No,
some of the mandate is already been taken care of by JIPO.
Absolutely, JIPO and COSCAP. Absolutely, I catch you long time.
Because you see, we need people to do the research for some of the older heads like myself. And Sasco is on the board. It's the first time Sasco on the board. I have been on every board, every incarnation of that board. And so I have served for 40 years. Because there have been several, the board started when Portia Simpson was the tourism minister so long ago. And now she's prime minister. So you just come to the team. Respect my brethren, and I'm glad you're here. Yeah? But what I'm saying is, people, there have been so many things there now, and some of them have been achieved, that sometimes you have to talk to us, because we need to pass on the things that we know to care. But you see, why am I here? I hope so. Because I want to download the thing before you hear it. And the reason is because we can help solutions. We have already achieved tourism trade in Jamaica. Listen, to the concern, that's already achieved, right? We're trying to get an entertainment encouragement act passed for 30 years now, we're still fighting that thing, right? You see? So we have some things to deal with, right? But I do not want these artists, nomads and them, to come to the next building and talk in the city. You see what I said? So I makes sense.
One more question and then we're going to close this session and then you on.
Check. 1, 2. Hi everybody, Omar Harder from NCR Chosen Sounds Music. I feel like there was a little bit of a misconception. I keep hearing that we're lacking skills in particular areas, and in my personal and professional experience, I don't feel as if that's the case. I feel maybe that the capacity to do all these things we want to do is held collectively, but individually it may not be held. So as a region, if you look around in the different areas, you're talking about business expertise, and Ms. Sharon Burke is over there making another deal. And my friend over here, Mr. Cyrus, of course, is excellent and proficient in music and mixing. So what I'm saying to you is that if we were to get together a collective list of all the people in our industries across the board, across the Caribbean, where we could draw from each and every one of the expertise all over the place, collectively, if we could have that, that would be the beginning of what we need here. So maybe somebody said someone would put in the chicken before the egg. We need to have first the list of those people who are proficient in their areas. We need to set them down, we need to put a website, and then we need to start to work that symmetry system so that we can reach. That is my contribution, and hey, I'd like to be a part of that.
Then went through the whole process through Cariforum and all that tralala to put these proposals again to the same body, and then I don't know, they got together the culture ministers and the trade ministers and all that stuff to cut the story short. And the new proposals, I saw all of it, I vetted it, I gave advice on it. The last thing I heard was they were considering it, and then they had to go country by country and consult with customs officials. Why, I have no idea. Okay, as if they were the ones making the decision. Maybe somebody in the room who knows anything about this can say what happened, but this ran for 2 years from 2012 to 2014, and then I stopped hearing about it. Yeah, Jamaica has tools of the trade, but my recommendation in 2004 when I arrived, and then the agreement in 2007 was to get rid, and we had a list of all the things that were considered inputs to cultural industries, because finance ministries were worried that if men bring stereo equipment and they sell it to the general public, that should not be considered input to creative output. So I don't know. I mean, this stuff has been around. My question is why this is a problem for this region, because inputs to all other sectors are duty-free.
International MFs.
So that's a rhetorical question. We're wrapping up this session, but thank you very, very much to everyone who has given up their time.
Yes, this is Protege, and you're watching Bob Arts Television. Are you locked in?
Yes.
Ras Astor.
Hi, greeting. This is still Mr. Brown. I too is from Kensington area, adjoining District Point. You said there's no Jamaican distributor in South Florida, but if everyone can look up myochereas.com, you'll find him there.
No, I never said there is no.
Okay.
I'm speaking specifically for breadfruit.
Breadfruit.
Right? Specifically to breadfruit.
Yeah, well,
as a matter of fact, I met with the owner of Ochereas distributor. He does roasted breadfruit, but these people not asking for roasted breadfruit. They're asking for the fruit itself. And he does not distribute that, nor is he registered with the particular entity that I went to.
How easy it is to get our breadfruit out of Jamaica?
Well, I think Ras Astor, that those are matters which we can discuss. Ras, please.
He's answered. Jampro is
But to get it legally into the US, so we won't talk about the east part, right?
You live a farm and not about the body.
No, I don't live in.
So I'm just saying, Ras Astor.
I don't live in Falmouth though.
Alright, sorry sir, but anyway, Jamaica have sea and we all disappear very soon. So I'm just simply saying, those are questions which I think you ought properly to attend the conference, register and attend, and the answers will certainly be forthcoming. I think.
Yeah, man, live and direct. This is White Mice and in tune to BobArtsTV television. Rasta government, Aska Black, His Majesty first. Love the them, poor people government. Aska Black. Yeah, man, it's White Mice from that time until this hour. Aska Black, the poor people governor. Yeah, man, love the them and love the people them. Love the work, Aska Black. Every time, His Majesty.
BobArtsTV, big up, cause you know a Sunfire, hot, from one day, the little sound come back, give thanks to the TV station here, you see me? You know, every week we there, play out all over the place, just book way, if you want to just check me out at 774-6476, and ask for Jeffrey or Big J, you know, Sunfire, hot, big up, BobArtsTV.
Yeah.
Well, it's a new one, may I forgive you. Hail up to the crowd and everyone out there. Radical. And we say, big up to everyone within themselves. I have a new one. This one say, I got you under my skin. I can't get you out of my mind. You got my head in a spin. Cause you sufficiently adequate, competently capable, a crack above par, diamond in the stars, there's no hiding, no denying, she's a real thing and she got me singing, diddly-dee-dap, love will sing, a light on my shoulder, she is spreading her wings, diddly-dee-dap, hear this thing, she loved me and I feel like a king. I say, oh no, never let this slip away. Oh no, yeah, you're in tune to Radical and Asta Black. And
cool. Yeah.
Hello Jamaica, this is Kevin Hines and you're watching BobArtsTV.
Big up every time.
Yeah.
I can't hear you!
That's I'm the Reggae Prime Minister of Jamaica.
Okay, let's party. Kick it! I guess you're a shanty, man. Alright. So let me do it the English way. Could you please put your hands together for the wonderful Miss Sean Campbell? Down the other way. Yo! Put your hands together for Sean Campbell!
From the chandelier, I'm gonna live like tomorrow doesn't exist, like it doesn't exist. I'm gonna fly like a bird through the night, feel my tears as they drop. I'm gonna see from the chandelier, from the chandelier. Montego Bay, you ready?
you in. Don't be shocked by my aggression, this might be the one. Let's get this conversation. Why you body up? Come on. Don't wanna wait no more. You got what I'm searching for. I'm feeling you vibing, I'm running high, it's exciting. And I want you here. Hold me closer and closer and hold me back to your body. I want to feel you, I wanna feel you. Woo! Wind up, wind up, wind up, oh yeah. Wind up, wind up, wind up, oh yeah. Wind up, wind up, wind up, oh yeah. Wind up, so, come on. What you doing, get me hot. Winding up your body, you don't have to stop. My temperature is rising, want you more than before. It's an animal attraction, wind your body up, come on. Don't wanna wait no more. You got what I'm searching for. I'm feeling you vibing, I'm running high, it's exciting. And I want you here. Hold me closer and closer and hold me back to your body. I want, you know what, everybody put your hands like this, come on. Woo! Wind up, wind up, wind up, oh yeah. Wind up, wind up, wind up, oh yeah. Wind up, wind up, wind up, oh yeah. Wind up, so look up here, go. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's such a pleasure to be here with you tonight. Y'all ready to have some fun? Yeah. The word is yama. Let me hear you say it. Yama. Here we go. Oh yeah. I know you know this one. Reggae night. We come together when the feeling's right. Ooh, oh, reggae night. And we'll be jamming till the morning light. We just go got to get my feelings. Got to catch it right. Gotta do my best, 'cause I know we will machine it up tonight. Woo! Reggae night. Come together when the feeling's right. Ooh. Reggae night. I hear you. Yeah, man. You will find it happens only once a year. Take advantage of this festive cheer. Make we bring with friends and turn up family. 'Cause we're gonna have a what? Jam session. So come in. I wanna see everybody put your hands together like this. Come on. To the beat. Woo! So come on. Oh, reggae night. Oh, we'll keep on jamming. Oh, reggae night. Oh, you know what? If you're here to have fun with me tonight, I want to see everybody waving your hands like this. Come on, come on, come on. Let me hear you say, I love Jamaica. I love Jamaica. I love to party. I love reggae.
Thank you.
Pass the country.
Are you ready?